When you look into the pre-pandemic, pre-COVID era, so let's rewind ourselves to March 2020 or before. Globally, while gender equality is an agreed goal, we are in the last decade of actions. But if we look into the global gender gap, we are kind of in the range of 23%. And we are not going to meet that gap. At least it is expected that 2086 is, if we don't take substantial measures, it's 2086 when we can really look to come closer. The women, when we're looking into the women's participation in the labor force, there are two clear trends that you would notice in the last a decade or so, specifically in the context of India. One, on a positive side, we are looking at increasing female literacy, and not only literacy, but increasing participation into the higher educations and skilling programs. But at the same time, a very declining female labor force participation rate. It's happening pre-pandemic, and it is not just because of pandemic. And today, if you look into the India's positions, when we are looking at the World Bank data of around 19-20% of our female labor force participations, which is much lower even in compared to a country like Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, right? Factors like your socio-cultural norms, when you're talking about early marriages, women should not be working, the concerns of safety, mobility, those kind of things. With this mentality that women should not be working, it's basically also leading to a dropping of the women from the workforce participation. While we are creating successfully educated, employable female potential workforce, but there are not enough jobs. So these have been the kind of, let's say, some of the key things, even pre-pandemic. What pandemic has really done, whether you're talking of formal economy or informal economy, is it has kind of, let's say, created and made many of these factors much worse for women. With the lockdown happening, when a home suddenly not only remained a home, it became a school, it became an office. Suddenly the unpaid care work, basically because one of the factors that all of us are fully aware, as a part of India being a kind of a patriarchal society, women are expected to take all the burden or the responsibility of care work. Already women were kind of spending 4 times more in a household on care work compared to men, and this further increased. So many women decided to move out of that on her own. Women have been, I think, the first to let go and the last to be rehired. The increase in gender-based violence, because when the male, female, everybody is locked in a house, it has created a kind of things where the violence against the woman has been increasingly reported more. 37% of more number of women who lost their job compared to 28 or 29% of men. The majority of the employment is in the small and medium businesses, right? And this discussion, this kind of a move to really make the workplace more inclusive, more gender friendly, is not something that has percolated down the value chain, if I can use that term. Women are the worst sufferer. And this is more to do with the power dynamics, the kind of balance between the society, and also the gender discriminatory norms which prevails in a society. Integral approach of our work when we are talking about women economic empowerment is not only to try to support women's own journey, but also look at the socio-economic barrier which she faces within the family. For example, on entrepreneurship, right? On entrepreneurship, we created a specific training programs and have created a mentors across many project locations, what we termed as Biz Sakhi. Biz Sakhi is business friend. And the key idea was, again, to break these socio-cultural norms, because one of the key challenge was for a woman who is already into her mid-40s, who wants to do something on her own, was to kind of have these discussions with her husband, with her father, with her son, because they have the power dynamics in that way. We strongly believe that we have to really train and educate and bring men into this discussion, right? Because ultimately men who are creating quite a bit of obstacles. So bringing men into this, that they become a champion of creating a more gender equal and supporting women's economic empowerment journey, bringing women into the workforce adds to your productivity. It's a business sense, and there are kind of umpteen example, documented example, that women are not only more organized, more productive, but it's basically investing in creating a gender equal workforce is a good business decision. India is a huge kind of emerging power. It has its own space in the global order, startup capital, this, that. So there are definitely quite a bit of. But I think the topic, if you are trying to look it from the lens of female labor force participation rate, we are not doing it right. We are one of the, I think, from the lowest in the world. Currently, if you look at the ranking of 156 countries, we are at 140, where the percentage of female who are part of the workforce. So on this parameter, sadly, we are not there. We are doing many right things in terms of creating, equipping, providing them the right skills, but we have to kind of move into the other side to opening up of the opportunities. Even in South Asia, we are much worse than, I think, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, even if I have to check my figure, but I think even Nepal also. The only country where we might be better, I think, is, of course, Afghanistan is kind of... one thing is definitely the importance of care work or care economy. We can't really neglect unless we create, and this I'm again answering more from a woman's perspective. And that's if we have to achieve the gender parity in the workforce, we need to create institutional support mechanism at all levels, from the level of the government, from the level of the organizations, that how the care facilities load on women could be reduced. That's and there also comes the whole idea of bringing men into this fold, because so that the men are sensitized. It is not a woman's job only to do the care work.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.